All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our first summer webinar series for 2020. We are thrilled to have you all here as we begin this conversation around what is first year experience looks like with environmental design. And we have a few people here to help us with that conversation. Just as a rule of thumb, as we go out throughout this conversation, as we asked you to register for this particular event, we asked for a series of different questions that you had on your mind regarding what to expect for fall. And so we brought in some really great people to help answer those questions for you. At any point, you can open up your chat feature at the bottom of your page. That will allow you the opportunity to ask us any questions that are on your mind. We're going to go through some things that are preliminary that we know that you were asking about when you registered for this event. Feel free to throw any other questions our way, and we'll be sure to address those to the best of our ability with what we know now. And we'll go ahead and get started. My name is Dylan West. I'm the Assistant Director of Academic Advising and First Year Experience with Environmental Design. I oversee our first year and second year advising unit, and then I also oversee orientation, which is a big part of why you will be hearing from me throughout the rest of the summer here. And in order to build out this conversation in connection to all things related to the environmental design experience, I've asked our program leadership to join us today for our conversation. So I will have Paul Hague introduce themselves, and we will start with Paul. Oh, hold on, let's see if we can unmute Paul here. There we go.
There we go. You took away my ability to unmute myself. So, well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for attending. It's great to have everyone here. As Dylan said, I am the Director of Environmental Design. I also teach in the program, studio history. And it is great to have everyone here. And we're really excited to get this going. And today is really your opportunity to ask us whatever is coming to your mind. Hopefully we'll be able to make this an easy transition for you, but we're looking forward to having you there.
And Peggy, oh, I think I have to unmute you as well. Does that work?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Peggy Gordon, and I'm the Assistant Program Director for Environmental Design. Welcome to all of you, and thank you for joining us today. My role in the program is I'm involved with everything, and there's very little that I don't know about. So if you ever have questions, I'm right inside the main office area, and you can always come and talk to us. But Paul and I work very close together to make sure that your experiences are something that you're going to treasure. So again, thanks for being here.
Awesome. So just to get an idea of who is all joining us today, we're going to ask you just to answer a quick question for us, since we won't be able to see your registration information until all of this is done. So the question is, are you joining us today from in-state or out of state? So feel free to answer in on that so we can kind of just get a feel for who is all joining us today. And we're excited to have you a part of this conversation. All right, thank you. I'm glad that worked out so smoothly. So just for all of you to see, it looks like we have 11 students joining us today from out of state, so 61% of you all, and then 39% are joining us from in-state. Great to see a wide variety of you all. That is very common with environmental design to see across experience of students that have coming to us from both in-state and out of state. So great to see that reflection here today. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started on just a few conversation points and questions that you all have. And we are going to open that up with our first question, which is, what exactly are classes going to look like for fall 2020, given everything that's going on? And Paul has volunteered to take the lead on this conversation.
Yeah, I'm going to take the tough one right off the bat. So I will tell you what we know. Things are evolving on a daily basis, but we think we have a pretty good idea of what things are going to look like for the incoming class. So we will be starting on schedule on August 24th, I think it is, 24th or 25th. The first year students will have in person. We are going to be in person, live in the classroom. you will have a studio experience. So you'll all be in cohorts of about 20 students each. We have about 160 students starting in the fall. So it'll be divided really between 8 different studio sections. And so you'll have your studio section. You'll also, in that cohort, and studio will go, we're still fine tuning. Part of this is we're learning what the campus guidelines are going to be. You'll either be in studio 2 or 3 days a week. We have to find out a little bit more about what the social distancing is, because we do have the 6-foot requirement, which is changing a little bit of our layouts in the building. So we're working on that right now. But you will have studio. In your cohort, you will also work together on your tech class, and you will work together in recitations, which Peg will tell you a little bit more about your intro to ENVD class. But it will feel very much like what a normal first year will be, other than we are going to have this social distancing component. People will be wearing masks for safety, and there will be lots of wiping down surfaces. But in terms of the instruction, you will be in studio. The semester will be divided into 2 8-week pieces that follow what our standard studios are anyways. So you'll have one cohort for 8 weeks, and then you'll switch to a second cohort for the second 8 weeks. The one thing that we did find out that came out this morning for sure is that after Thanksgiving, we'll be online for the last 2 weeks of the semester. We'll be doing that remote. But before Thanksgiving, we will have in-person experience. It'll be a little bit modified to make sure that we've got all the safety in place. But other than that, you'll have your standard faculty. You'll have access to your advisors like Dylan. And so it'll be as close to normal as we can make it.
Awesome. Yeah, we have been all working very hard, all the staff and faculty, to ensure you have the best experience possible. So we are excited to see you all on campus and begin that conversation. All right. Well, let's do one more. Let's just see if I can master my technology here today for you all. We're curious, what major in environmental design are you most excited to explore as a first-year student? Feel free to submit your answers in now. Great. So it looks like we've got a good distribution across the board, large amount of architecture per usual, which is a popular major within our program, followed with product design, landscape architecture, and sustainable planning. We have a pretty good distribution across our program, so be proud of whatever major you're interested in, but please know also that you will explore all 4 regardless. So we're excited to see those conversations. All right, you had a big question regarding this next point here, and really wanting to know a little bit more about what my full first year experience is in environmental design, what that's gonna look like. So Peggy's gonna walk us through what your classes will look like for the fall term.
Hi there again. So for the fall, as far as classes go, you'll have the 2 cohort studios that Paul was mentioning. And the one thing for you to remember is that this is already how our curriculum is set up. So it's just that, you know, we're leaders in the program. We do things by design. So definitely having those 2 8-week studios already set up in the way that campus is asking is something we're ahead of the game on. And in addition to that, you'll have some seminar classes that will go the full 16 weeks. And some of those will be larger lectures, and we're still working as far as how that might look, and to try to break down those big lecture courses into, you know, smaller recitations or cohort feelings and stuff. And we've got some ideas that we're still playing with, but I think we're going to be able to do that one really well for you also. You will be pre-registered for a few of your courses, and this may look a little bit different than what you're seeing when you go online to go through your registration process with the class. So we will register you for both of your studios and for your tech class. And then there will be a couple of other classes that you will need to register for on your own. If you're in a rap or a writing seminar that you're going to be registered for ahead of time, you'll get notification of that. And then to round out, 12 to 15 credit hours, you will need to go ahead and probably find a general ed course, and you'll find all of those in that skill class that you're going to go through. And for the most part in the spring, that process is completely doubled and repeated. And then sometime before registration starts in the fall, I'm sure we'll do what we have called in the past sandwiches and schedules, where we will definitely reach out to you guys, have you either come in person to a group meeting or Zoom maybe, and then we'll go over how to do that registration again in the fall for you.
Yeah, Sandwiches and Schedules is one of our more popular first-year events. Your peer advising team will provide some type of experience for you and walk you through all the classes that you need to take for the spring semester. So we'll make sure you get all the skills down that you need. So thanks for the promo, Peg, on that one. Cool. So a lot of you had questions about what is a studio and how does that differ from a lecture or some other type of classes? Paul, do you want to talk a little bit about what the difference is between studio and lecture and maybe technology as well?
Sure. So studio is a very different experience. It is, you meet several times a week, 3 times a week for about 2 hours each day, 2.5 hours. And studio is all about creation. It is hands-on, and it's about the first 8 weeks. So, and back up a second, through the first year, you're going to do 8 weeks in each of the 4 disciplines. So you'll get a studio experience in each of the 4 disciplines. You'll start with product design. And what you're going to learn there is you're going to learn some of the basic concepts of design, the vocabulary, the rules of design, symmetry, all of the different types of tools that we use. You'll get an introduction to sketching. You'll get an introduction to a little bit of formal drawing, first touch of some of the Adobe products, Photoshop things. But it's really a hands-on introduction. It's all about learning how to create. You will do presentations. And as a group, lots of one-on-one instruction from the faculty, getting feedback. You'll have a small assignment. Last year, they did a bike rack that they had to design and do research on what your clients are like and what do they do. And then the second 8 weeks, you'll move into architecture. And then you'll focus a little bit more on just a building size or a space size and how to look at a space, how to do site analysis. So studio is really hands-on, slowly learning the pieces of design, learning how to communicate graphically. You'll get a lot of focus on how do you communicate your ideas. That's what studio is. It's really, you're gonna really start cutting your teeth on how to be a designer. By Thanksgiving, you'll be talking completely differently about, you'll be going home at Thanksgiving and commenting on your parents' arrangement of their furniture and things like that. Whereas lecture or seminar classes are a little more what you're used to going through school. They're small, you'll have both small classes, your tech class, which are really more skills class, learning some of the technology. And then you'll have a larger lecture class, your 1004 class, your intro class, which is a class where you'll really be learning about different areas of environmental design, different parts of the theory. And that'll be a little bit more like being in a large classroom and getting, you have a lot of responsibility to keep up with note-taking, to do reading. So you're gonna have a little bit of each of the different type of experiences. You'll have studio, very small, 20 students hands-on, seminars, technology, again, fairly small, and then a large lecture course. You'll have all 3 different types of courses that you have.
Absolutely. We do have a first-year experience program called the Emerging Leaders Program, which you'll get some communication about throughout the summer, which will also be a key source for you all in kind of navigating all these different types of demands and things that will come out of the variety of classes that are happening here in environmental design. A lot of you had questions about what type of supplies or technology requirements should first-year students in environmental design be prepared for. We have provided you in your Canvas course a list of different technology requirements as well as different studio items that would be helpful for you in your experience. We are always updating that list, and we will provide you with our most up-to-date version of that in your advising appointment with either myself or Fernando Martinez, who is one of our first and second year advisors during your June advising appointments. Our advising appointments for all first year students going live here this upcoming week for you to be able to sign up for in June through Buff Portal. You should be also able to see your advising assignment live now. So if you haven't had the chance to sign on to Buff Portal and kind of get used to that different platform amongst the many things that are a part of our CU experience, that will be a great one just to know who is your point of contact as you enter your first year here. And making sure that you get that advising appointment signed up shortly. So by the end of the week, you should see those appointments live, and we will be ready to start answering your questions in conversation for the fall semester. Last question that we had that we wanted to make sure we addressed is what type of rigor or expectations are expected of me as an ENVD student? And I know that a lot of students are sometimes interested about what type of design experience they need to have coming in, or just the types of demand are provided by students. So Paul, would you like to give a little bit of context to that?
Sure. So first of all, it's really important to know that everyone starts at the same place. There's not an expectation that you have any experience doing any type of design. So that's the first thing I want to reassure everyone about. Everyone walks into ENVD. It's one of the unique things about this major that everyone starts at the same place. So that's something up front. You will find the biggest difference between this and high school is the pace. You will go a lot faster. There will be a lot more expectation on reading that you're doing. So you'll have reading assignments every day. There's a lot of time management. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that you will get assignments every week in all of your classes. So your studio class will have an assignment every week. Typically, you're either, depending on what project it is, you're either given the assignment on Monday and it's due the following Monday, or you give it to you on a Friday and do the following Friday. The important thing is time management. You can expect that for every hour of lecture or studio, it's about 2 hours of homework that you'll have that goes along with it. And that's something, the best advice I can give is plan that right now in the summer, right? Start planning ahead of time how you're going to organize, because you're going to very quickly, you'll have assignments in your tech class, of assignments in your 1004 class, of assignments in studio, and then assignments in your other class you're taking, whether it's intro to writing, whether it's a general ed class. So there is a lot of work that you're going to have to manage, and deadlines are just that. They're deadlines. And I think that's the thing, that the hardest thing for people to get used to is you may be given an assignment on Monday and it's due the next Monday, and no one's really going to check how you're doing on that assignment till it's due. And so I would say the thing to get used to is schedule. It's not going to be, you're not going to get reminded all the time. That's something that people always have to get used to at the beginning, is every day when you come into class, someone's not reminding you. You will get assignments that maybe last 3 weeks, and how do you manage that? So the expectations are really keep up the pace, keep up with what the assignment is, be prepared. So when there's a reading assignment, it's really the reading has to be done before class to be ready to discuss it. If it's a studio assignment, the studio assignment has to be done, and you're ready to do what we call pinups. They're actually putting your drawing up on the wall or virtually, depending on what we're doing, and be ready to discuss it. So there really is an expectation walking in from the first day of how to do time management. So that would be what I would say. That's the expectation. Be prepared to be prepared at the beginning of each class. And that's the first step. They'll talk to you more about it. Over the summer, that'll be something that's a theme that we go, how do you adjust? But that's the thing to start thinking about. How do you time manage? How do you make sure that everything's getting done for every class that you've got?
Absolutely. I'm going to put into the chat feature right now that we are hosting a webinar in June about how to succeed in environmental design, where some students are actually going to come forward and share some of those different experiences they've had of all the things that they wish they would have learned. So just to piggyback off of what Paula is just talking about, we will have a whole conversation dedicated to that. So if you have not registered for that yet, which a lot of you have, feel free to head to our Experience website there. And then on the middle of the page, there is a register now link for that webinar. And we'll be sending information to everyone who's registered for that here in the coming weeks on the same information you need for today. At this point, those are the questions we know we wanted to cover. I've gotten a few questions come in so far that I'll share with both Peg and Paul and see if we can get some answers out to students that are visiting in this conversation. Also below, for those that have not submitted anything and you would like to, there is a Q&A function or a chat function. Either is appropriate to get us your questions. There's still things that are lingering for you. One question we did get is talking about, can a student pursue a minor in environmental design or other academic experiences outside of our program? I definitely can answer from an advising lens, but I'm wondering if there's anything you all wanted to add into that conversation.
Peg, maybe you want to talk about historically what some students do?
Well, definitely, we encourage students to do certificates or minors or find other ways to, add to and enrich your time here at CU. There's quite a few minors that blend in nicely with our program, and I'll go ahead and let Dylan talk about which ones those are, and maybe because I think things have added, like business is always a good one and that kind of thing, but definitely it's something we would support you in as far as doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and this actually is perfect. We just had someone ask if they can major in architecture and minor in business. So yeah, let's go ahead and answer that one perfectly first. Yeah, there is a lot of different majors within environmental design and good minor pairings that will come with that. Just like this individual had asked, architecture and business is a really great pairing. They even have a real estate track within that. So if you're interested in development work or some of those other elements, that's a perfect way to kind of blend some interest there. But Peg is right, it constantly is growing and developing. Our planning students and urban design students tend to focus more in environment, whether that's human or physical. So geography is a really great one where they can double up in some GIS pairings. Architecture has some really great ones like lighting design through engineering or engineering management, or business where there is some aspects of this and operations and construction, as well as the overall design field. Landscape architecture is more in the realm of environmental conversations. So you will also see things like biology, where they're diving more into landscape ecology and conservation, and other elements like that. We also do see lighting design as a popular route for them, or something through engineering called creative technology and design, which is more just design platforms in general and beginning to be a little bit more robust in those areas. And then finally, product design is going to be a little bit more dependent upon what area or interest that you have within that major or field. Lighting design is popular, so creative technology is popular. We also do see things in kind of that entrepreneurial business world as well. We also encourage other interests as well. We have students in foreign language, so if they're interested in working in different communities or abroad, that's also a really great pairing. Art history is also a phenomenal pairing for any of our areas if you're more interested in how things have been designed up to this point and what innovation looks like and progress moving forward in design. It's always best to learn the trends of what has already happened, and that's a key theme in our majors as well. I know Paul is a huge supporter of that history component. So you will see different areas of interest that are a part of that conversation, but overall, there really isn't a wrong minor or major pairing. It's really about where your passions lie and kind of where that intersection is, and we'll be sure to help you along the way with those conversations. One question we did also have is, should we be signing up for classes and advising appointments right now, and how do we schedule a meeting? So one thing I had addressed briefly earlier is that we do have a program called Buff Portal, which is your advising platform. So if you simply just Google Buff Portal, CU Boulder, that will bring you right there. You sign in with your identity and password. That will bring you to your main page. You won't see any advising appointments live yet. Webinar today was kind of the beginning send-off into advising appointments for summer. So Fernando and I will both have our advising appointments available for first-year students by the end of the week, and you should see that in your calendar feature. You just go below our picture, say schedule an appointment with my advisor, and that will bring you to that screen. It's very user-friendly. If you have any questions, feel free to connect with us via email for next steps. All right, got a few other questions here.
Dylan, I have a subsequent question for that.
Yeah,
That the
absolutely.
students may not have asked, but they might want to know, is do they need to complete the Canvas class before they submit an application or an appointment?
Great question. Yes, your advising assignment won't go live until you've gone through the ENVD component of your new student walk experience. So if you have not done that Canvas course yet and completed our quiz, you will not see your advisor assignment yet. So make sure you do that first. Great question. Thank you, Peg. All right. What are the stay abroad options within this program? Well, that is a wonderful question. I can answer this too if you guys want me to.
Sure, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. So study abroad, interesting conversation. What I'm going to say about it right now is yes, you can study abroad and there are multiple locations available to you. Given the current state of everything, the locations and things like that are constantly changing. However, we do have pathways for students to study abroad. In the past, we've had students study abroad in Europe, Copenhagen, specifically Germany, Prague. We've also had programs in Sydney and New Zealand, as well as programs in Ireland and the UK. There are multiple opportunities for you to study abroad. It's just different opportunities for you to look at that. Some students will study abroad with a studio component. Some students will study abroad with a program that we like to call our specialized elective semester, which is more of a professional development based semester that happens later on in your semester, your time in environmental design. That's where some of these locations may be more about sustainability education or business and other entrepreneurial studies that may be related to your degree. Some of these programs and locations that I've listed have a studio component where you can do a studio abroad as part of your degree. We will work through that with you as you get closer to your decision mark. Most students will be studying abroad in their third year in our program, and that's to ensure you've gotten through all of your core curriculum classes and you've taken your first 6 credit studio in our major. The reason for that is we want you to be prepared for the rigor abroad and not get thrown into some classes that are not at the level that is portfolio worthy for your degree and for wherever you're headed next. So we really do emphasize that third year as the time to take your abroad experience live. All right, so we've got that, we've got that. Those are all the questions that I have right now. If you have anything else lingering, feel free to submit it right here in the moment. Otherwise, we will wrap up and say thank you for your time today. Looks like nothing else is coming in. So we want to appreciate the time that you all have taken for this hour to chat with us and connect with us about the environmental design first year experience. We look forward to being with you throughout the summer as you get prepared to enter the fall semester with our program. All right. Have a great rest of your day, everyone, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.